Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the QZ Toys, the QZ-S8 foldable drone. Another one of these foldable toy drones with a Wi-Fi FPV. Here it is right here. This is a green and black. I think there's also a solid green version of this. On and off button here on the top. It does have a 2 megapixel Wi-Fi FPV camera that's attachable on the bottom that plugs in here. This white camera on the bottom, and it is swivelable. You can aim it down or up. I'm going to leave it up. There's the Wi-Fi antenna on the bottom. I'm going to try to aim it down, and it transmits back to the app by 720p, which is a bit unusual. Usually these only do standard definition. So it does have very good quality for a toy grade camera, but as you get a little ways out, you're going to have lag and choppiness and drop frames. So that's something you have to be mindful of. That's partially because you're transmitting so much data on a 720p. But you know, these are popular because they're easy to transport. You just pop the arms out and they just snap into place. They don't necessarily lock into place with a lock and unlock button, but they're not going to come undone. But overall, this is a pretty good flyer, reasonably priced. It has this LED here in the front, and then it's got LEDs on the arms here. I will go ahead and plug the battery in real quick to show you the LEDs. And just press the power button. You can see these are blue on the front and green in the back, and then there's this blue LED in the front, and you can swivel this all the way down or forward. So I think that's kind of neat. So if you want to fly it up overhead, then you can put this all the way down, and you can see the front orientation a little bit better. But I think most people probably will aim it forward, but it is neat that you can swivel it. So go ahead and unplug the battery here, and we'll go ahead and go over that. Now this doesn't have an SD card, actually it's all Wi-Fi, so it's going to broadcast back to the app. We'll go over in just a moment. You can use the app to control it, but I'm going to use the controller because you always get better controls with the controller. The battery is a 3.7 volt, 600 milliamp hour battery, and it gets you about 6 minutes flight time, but it has a very long LVC of about 1 minute where the lights will flash. So it's a little bit premature in my opinion, because you think you need to land it and you have about a minute of flight time left. So when LVC hits, you know, you have some time still to fly this, so don't freak out and immediately land it. It comes with a USB charger. The light comes on and goes off when it's charged, and it takes an hour to charge it. I actually saw it right when it went off. It was almost exactly an hour to charge, which is not bad for a battery of this size. Also comes with a full set of prop guards if you're going to need those if you're flying this in an indoor area, which is a little big for indoors or if you're a beginner. And it comes with a Phillips screwdriver and some little extra screws here, and these screws are to attach like the landing gear, because they kind of pop into place, but if you don't attach these little screws, they will fall off. So make sure you put the little Phillips screws in to keep the landing gear in place, or the landing gear will fall off. And it comes with just 2 spare props, which I was a little disappointed. I would like to see a full set, because you know there's a chance you could break these or scuff them up pretty bad if you don't use the prop guards. They're so cheap. I'm kind of surprised I did not include an extra set of or a full set of prop guards. Let's go ahead and go over the controller. The controller is actually pretty nice. It's big, kind of like a game, kind of like an Xbox controller. You need to attach these little extensions to the gimbals there, so it's good for pinchers and thumb flyers. You get your full pitch and roll trim here. On the left here is your camera and video controls if they make a version with an SD card, which there is a C version of this, so that would be for that version. Pressing up is for headless mode, and pressing down is for your 1 key return. To calibrate the gyros, you do both sticks in until the lights stop flashing. Let's see, the upper left is your 3 rates. The highest rate, the yaw, is really nice. It's not too fast. The drone can get a little bit it's still a little bit squirrely, I guess you could say, when you're turning it around. So I kind of like to find the intermediate rate. And this is for your top right here is for your 3D flips, your 360 flips in the direction that you want to flip. Just gonna check my notes here. Oh, it has altitude hold, as you can see by the centering stick. And let's see, I'm just checking my notes real quick. I think we covered most of that stuff. The app that you need to use is called the HTS UFO. You get that from the Play Store, and that app is pretty much like the rest of the apps out there. You do have a setting in here where you can turn the 720p interface on and off, and that one, you know, you might want to do that if you want to try to reduce the lag if you have that problem. The video that I recorded was pretty good, but I kept the drone up close. So like I said, if you get it far away, I think you're going to experience a lot of dropout. So you just press that button, you go into it, you got your photo and your video, and you've got all your different controls, your gyro control. You've got a extra controls here for the auto, for altitude. You can turn altitude hold on and off. It's got your controls here. See, altitude hold is on and there's off. So you can actually turn it off on this one, where the controller is always altitude hold. But pretty basic, just like all the other apps, and it seems to work just fine for me. So that's all there basically is with the app. So not a whole lot to it. It's a nice flying drone. It's pretty sporty, like I said, and it flies well. And I've had no problems with the video feed as long as you stay close. But if you do get it out of ways, I'm sure you're going to experience lag and you're going to have dropouts in the video quality. But it does record 720p with the 2 megapixel camera, so I think that's a big plus, because typically these do not record in that good a quality over Wi-Fi. So overall, I do like this drone. So let's go ahead now and we'll move along to the flight review. Okay, everybody, let's take the QZ Toys drone up for a test flight here. I've got it bound up with the FPV here. This shows up. We got the handicap in front of it for the takeoff here that will show up when you take off. Now to take off, you do have to unlock the props. I didn't mention that a while ago. You do it down and out. It does not have auto takeoff or auto landing, which is a bit unusual for an altitude hold quadcopter. But it's not a huge deal in my opinion. It works just fine manually taking off, and it's good to practice manual takeoff. So I'm going to go ahead and start recording video here. That's going to record that 720p feed, and we'll have alongside here, and we'll see how well that works and how much of it, how many frames you lose, and then get a good idea on the quality. So let's go ahead and take it up. It takes it just a moment to kind of gauge its altitude. That is the lowest rate. And that's the low. You see the yaw's very slow. That's kind of going away on me there. We'll go up to the intermediate rate. Now the yaw's better, and when I'll go at the highest, you can see the yaw's even faster. See, it gets a little, and I kind of hit the yaw, it's pretty quick to turn around. So you could easily get your orientation mixed up on the highest rate if you're not a very experienced pilot. You know, you do have those lights, but you can see it pretty easy to see. It is really getting squirrely. So I'm going to go back to the intermediate rate. I find that one to be the easiest to fly in. See, now it's a little bit easier for me to control. It's not spinning around on me so quickly when I just barely bump the yaw stick. Let's take it up here a little bit higher here and get some panoramic here. I'm looking at my screen. The wind's kind of blowing it. I'll look up at it here. Just get a little turn around. It's kind of still kind of a quick yaw there. You get it up high enough to do a panoramic, you know, kind of a 360. You might go to the lowest rate just because you can turn the yaws a little bit slower there. It's still wanting to kind of drift on me because of the wind. Take it back up to the intermediate rate. Let's do a few flips here. It flips pretty good. Now, I'm not a huge fan of doing flips on these aerial drones where you're taking photos and videos because it looks kind of silly, but it flips pretty good. Let's do another one. Not too bad. Not super tight, but not super sloppy either. Sort of decent sized drone. But you know, it's portable. You can take it with you in your backpack. It's not super expensive, and it's pretty sporty. See there, now I'm going to try to fly it a little bit faster now. It's not super loud. Yeah, overall, I like this. It's a nice little drone. I said, well, have to see how the video quality turned out and the side-by-side picture-in-picture here to see how much frames we lost or if we had any. But looking at my feed, as long as you stay close, the FPV feed is not too bad. I'm not seeing a ton of lag. I said I have the antenna aimed down, and I think that will help if you aim that antenna down. But real smooth and real quick to turn, even on the intermediate rate. So you do have to be a little mindful of that so you don't get spun around too much and lose your orientation if you can't see the lights. That blue light in the front is a big help in my opinion. I like that design feature that they stuck that on there. I would keep it faced straight out unless you plan on taking it up really high here. Then you can see you might want that you might want it aiming down if you're taking it up high overhead, but you can still see the lights on the arms enough. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now. That was about 4 minutes of there, so we should have at least about another minute before the low voltage alarm will go off. Like I said, you still have another minute after that before, and that actually is going off right now. I can see it blinking. So you can see it's not going to go dead. It's still got a decent amount of power. Let's see if it'll try to do a flip. No. So when the low voltage alarm hits, it will not let you flip, which is good because you're losing the power. Like I said, I got 5 minutes, and then I had about 1 minute before I lost power completely. Looks like today it might have been a little bit sooner. I'm going to go ahead though and land it. And the props went ahead and detected the ground and turned off. So I did not have to lock the props there. I unlocked it myself. But when it hits the ground, it will detect the ground and it will turn off the props itself. So overall, this is actually not a bad little drone. It has quite a few nice features and that high definition Wi-Fi feed, which if you stay close is pretty good. So I would say this overall is a win. I do like this one. Not a bad drone at all. So I think that wraps it up, so I appreciate you for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and have a good day.
The power of the dark side.